Last week there was a super significant event for all Notion users. We were presented with access to the public beta of the API. In this video, I'll talk about what an API is and show you how it all works. But before that, I want to tell you that I have my own interactive course on Notion. Complete tasks and measure your progress in mastering Notion. Try to get all the problems done and achieve 100% result. The link to my course is in the video description. Now let's get back to the topic of our video. This API that many have been waiting for stands for Application Programming Interface. This interface allows Notion to communicate with other applications, databases, and devices. Earlier, Notion was kind of closed on itself and people came up with various tweaks to interact with the outside world. For example, using the private data of your Notion cookie files. Now everything has changed. An amazing world opens before us when any service that has its own API can upload new information to your Notion account. After that, another service will receive information from Notion and process it. In particular, this means that you can embed Google Sheets on Notion pages with formulas based on Notion data and, of course, charts based on the same data. And also, you can transmit data from your Notion pages to your sites and apps. Notion itself transfers data in a REST architecture. You can connect either directly by sending HTTP requests or through various integration services, for example Zapier or Automate.io. In this video I will show both approaches and the second one also in different services. Well, are you ready to some magic? First I will describe the whole structure and show how it works, and then let's take a look under the hood. So I created a Notion table called Meetings. It lists the people I'm going to meet, the places, exit dates, and email addresses. Previously, I would have to fill in this information with my hands, but API allows you to look at this matter much more broadly. That's what I'm doing. I send a Google form to the person who fills in this data. After that, the data appears in Notion with a slight delay. After a few more minutes, based on this data, an event is created in the Google Calendar for the desired day from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. In addition, my Gmail account sends me and the second participant the confirmation letter. Finally, I check the web page that shows all the appointments in a way that is convenient for me. Right now I have 2 appointments. Here they are visible in Notion, in the calendar, and on the website. Let's add a new meeting somewhere in between. So I start filling out the form, name, choosing a place, attaching a photo of the place, day of the meeting, finally mail. Sending, done. We are waiting for 5 minutes, I'll tell you why a little bit later. The table in Notion has been updated. The file is attached as a path to an image on my Google Drive. I don't know if it is possible to directly upload files to Notion through the API. Most likely it is impossible. So in this integration, Notion accepts not files but links to them. Actually, this will be enough for our needs. Since our table has been updated, let's update the page on the website as well. As expected, the new entry was added to my appointment list. Moreover, it appeared between the other 2, since the meetings on the website are sorted by date. A few minutes have passed, it's time to check my Google Calendar. There were no surprises, I see that the meeting appeared where it should have appeared. Now I finally check my mail. Yes, here's the letter. The headline says where we are going, and in the body of the letter there is also the meeting time inside the text line. This is how it works. Now let me show you how I did it all. I open Automate.io service. It allows you to set up bundles like if this happened, then do that. These integrations here are called bots. In this service I set up an integration of Google Forms and Notion. The Google Form is linked to the Google table and all data will go into it. Automate.io checks every 5 minutes if there is any new data. If it is, then the bot performs the action, create a new record in my Notion table. There are intermediate steps here, formatting the date so that Notion understands its format and changing the path to the photo. If the path to the photo is not changed, then it will be shown in the Google Drive interface, and therefore it cannot be used in my integrations. If we replace a couple of characters, we just get a picture in the browser. In general, Automate.io and similar services at free tariffs do not allow configuring complex bundles in 2 or more steps. But since the formatting tool is internal, that is from Automate.io itself, it seems that this rule does not apply here. You see, I got 3 steps and it's still free. However, this cannot be said about Zapier, to which we are moving on. So, Zapier is probably the most popular integration service in the world. Here I set up a check for a new appointment to appear in my Notion table. The first integration, which I called here Zaps, takes data from Notion, formats the data a little and sends a Google email. The second Zap takes data from Notion, formats the start and end dates and creates a Google Calendar entry. I must say that on the free plan, Zapier completely loses to Automate.io. To record this video, I had to sign up for a trial period for a paid plan at Zapier, and here's why. Without formatting the date, you simply will not be able to create events in the Google Calendar, or in any case, there may be errors with the table. This is as in the case with Automate.io. You will have 2-3 steps long integrations using internal formatting. But Automate.io doesn't take your money for this, and Zapier requires you to switch to a paid plan, the lowest of which is $20 per month. In addition, on the free plan, Automate.io gives you 300 tasks per month, while Zapier only 100. And Automate checks every 5 minutes, while Zapier only 15. And Automate.io's tariffs are noticeably lower. I must say that there are many such services, and you can find a convenient option for yourself. There is also, for example, Integromat or IFTTT. Finally, I'll show you how to transmit data from Notion to your website. My page was created on Bubble.io Web Apps Builder. This is the most convenient no-code platform for the web, at least for me. Back to my site. On page load, it sends a post request to my database API. Along the way, the header passes the authorization token, which I received on the Notion integrations page. In the request body, I left room for an arbitrary filter by name and for sorting in ascending order of date. The API call itself is presented in the form of an action. Bubble works with 2 kinds of API calls, either in data format to fill structures with the results, or in action format to fire the call when an event occurs. Since I need the data not only to fill the table when it appears, but also to update it with a button click, I choose Action. After you finish configuring the API call, you need to initialize it. Thus, Bubble will understand the structure of the data transmitted from Notion via the API and will be able to work with it. Data from Notion will be sent to the so-called repeating group. This is a table that will line by line work with the data array transmitted via the API. The first entry goes to the first line, the second to the second, and so on. Here I have a picture, here is the name of the person, here is a text made up of the time and place of the meeting. All these objects take data from the corresponding record in Notion and work with it. Finally, I set up the actions. When exactly will the data from Notion be called and the table filled? First, it happens on page load. Secondly, when you click the refresh button. If I now change the text in my Notion table, by pressing the button, this change will be immediately reflected on the site. That's all. Don't forget to like, subscribe and click the bell if you like the video. See you!